Okay, so in today's video, we were supposed to go back and work on our cube rolling game, the one where you have to roll the cube from one face onto the other to get to the end platform. But I have to admit that I have been working on it in the background, but what I didn't realize, well, actually I did note this, but I just didn't think of it. I created a new scene in the same project and copied everything over and started working on that project or that new scene, forgetting that whatever I do in that scene, because it's still changing the same scripts and stuff, it's still going to affect the scene that we were working on together. So we're going to go back into the original scene and see how messed up it is and what we need to fix and see if we can fix it. If not, we might just have to carry on with the scene, the second scene that I worked on in my own time, and then I'll explain things further. But I'll give you a quick demo of what the game is supposed to be like in the second scene that I made. I made it purely for testing purposes and to see if things would actually work, which they do work up to now. But I'll give you a quick demo of what exactly the original scenes it was. So this was the original one where we started working on it. I think we got to the point where our animation worked. The cube popped up at the start of the animation, the start of the game. It popped up out of our pink slab over there, platform. And then what it was is it came up slowly, and then you were able to move it from that platform onto the next platform by rotating it onto the next face. I can't remember if we implemented that correctly and it started working, but what I do know is it's not working in the scene anymore, even if it was. So this is what we have now. The aim of the game was to start over here and rotate the cube from one face onto the other, but instead of just staying in this place, it's supposed to rotate onto the next platform. So from this platform, it goes onto this one, and then eventually onto the green one, which is supposed to be our ending platform. So the platform where it's triggered to trigger the next level and get rid of the current one that's in the scene. So that's what was supposed to happen. But as you can see, the movement of the cube is not really working properly. It is rotating how we want it to, but it's not working how we want it to. So let me show you what I've been working on. So this is the test scene that I created, hoping to test things in advance to see if the game is actually would actually work. So you can see that we have the animation of at the start is working. It might be a bit too fast. We might have to slow it down a little bit. So, but you can see that when we start the game, it comes out of the pink platform and you're able to rotate it onto the next platform all the way until you find your way onto the green one, which is supposed to be the end platform. So when you get to this point, it should trigger the end platform to kind of like suck the cube into it and get rid of the cube entirely to trigger the next level to appear. But I did come across a few problems that I'm still trying to figure out. So we will do that later on when we get there. But for now, we're going to go back to our sample scene here, or our original scene, and try and figure out if we can get it sorted. If not, we will just have to continue in our test scene. So the one thing I do know we have to do is I do believe that when you add a animation onto the cube, because the animation has movement in it, it does affect the movement of our cube, which could possibly be the reason why our cube is not really moving from one place to the other. It's just rotating. So we need to go and fix that. So one way I came up with was to create an empty parent, and this will be our cube parent. Now on here, we will take the original cube and we'll copy the animator. So where's copy component, and then we're just going to remove it off of our original cube. And we'll paste it onto our cube parent. So that hopefully that will give or solve our animation and our movement, but I don't think it will. So let's test it out. Okay, so it's destroyed the movement, but we can now see that our cube is actually moving from one platform to the other, but it's completely destroyed. So that is great. So great. Now we need to figure out how to fix that. All right, that's going to be a lot of work. Was not expecting that. Okay, so let's go and play our animation. So let's play this and just see what happens. Okay, so let's make this shorter. So we start off here and then we move up. Okay, but scale is going up, but clearly it's not. So you see, the problem I have here is now, if I change animations in this one, it's going to change it in our test scene, which is a problem because I've just got that working. I don't really want to destroy that, so I'm just going to go here quick. Let's go open up our test scene and see if we've damaged anything. We shouldn't have, because we haven't changed any code or anything. But because, you know what, let's just create new animations. Let's just do that. Let's go back here. So our animations now are start and end. So let's create another animation and we'll call it something different. So on our cube parent, let's create another animation. This will be create new animation, and this will be called start animation. Okay, so we want it to start off like that. We'll have it at, let's just go and reset it, 0. Actually, yeah, let's just do this. Let's go 0, 0, and 0, and then we'll start recording it. And then when we get to about half a second, we want it to have a scale of, see why that should not be 1. I mean, it should start off at 0. So here it should start off at 0. So we'll change that to 0. And then here, that should be 0. And then it should go, from here it should go to 1. So that should be 1. And then that should have moved up 0.5. But for some reason, our cube is not scaling. That's weird. That's very weird. Do we have a cube prefab? We don't. Okay, so let's do this. Let's create a completely new cube. Do we want to do that though? I don't think so. Let's go do this. Let's go and undo that. So we'll get rid of all of this. Let's stop recording and add 0. Let's go and reset this to 0. Actually, let's go set that to 0, and then we might have to do it on our cube. So we'll set our cube to 0. Okay, so now let's go start recording. And when we get to about half a second, we want it to be 1. Why is that not working though? That needs to be at 1. That needs to be at 0.5. And that should be it. But I don't understand why that's not working. What? That's confusing. So if we scale this up, nope, that's still not working. We scale that up. No, how did I just get it to work? That's working. Now it's working. What? That's so weird. Well, oh, maybe it's because the parent needs to be 1. So if we start that at 0 and then scale that up. Oh, okay, maybe that's why. So our cube parent, yeah, okay, so that also needs to be at 1. So now let's go and do this again. So we'll go and actually let's set that to 1, and then we'll change it on the cube parent. So let's go get rid of all of that. Okay, so now we'll select our parent, and then we wanted to start at 0, so we want it to be like a pancake, flat. So when we start recording and we start at 0 and then go to half a second, we might have to make it slow or faster later, but we want to go to 1, and then we want to move it up by half a unit, I think. So let's see if we do that here. Okay, so that looks good. So you can see it looks like it's just coming up and not just like expanding in both directions. So that's good. So we can stop recording there. Now let's just press play and see what happens. Okay, so that kind of works. That's fine. But now we need to figure out why. Actually, let's go and test the movement out. So, okay, so our movement is still not working. That's interesting. Okay, so on our cube parent, do we still have a animator? No, we don't. We got rid of our animator. Let's go get rid of our rigid body just for now, because we don't really need that at the moment, and see if that makes any difference. Okay, so we still can't really move in the direction that we want to move in. Although, let's go and disable that and see if that works. Because I think the animation, yeah, see, I don't understand why though. Let's go make that 1 and then just see what happens. So that should move our cube to the start platform, but it doesn't put it at the right height. And then the movement is correct, just the positioning of the cube is not in the right location. So this needs to be up here somewhere at 0.6. Okay, so let's go have a look at the code. So level manager, in here there is a move to start position, which is responsible for moving our cube to the starting position. Now the starting position is at 0. And our cube is at 0. No, this needs to be at 0. Okay. 0, 0. Okay, so we might just have to go and set the cube. Yeah, let's go do that. So when we go and move the cube, we want the starting position on the y-axis to be... Actually, let's do this. On our cube, no, where is it? On our level position, we can go and set this to, I think it's minus 0.6. Play it and see what happens. Okay, that fixed it. Cool. So now we have our movement is working nicely. The only thing we now have to fix is the animation. Actually, I don't even know if that worked. Let's go. No, it didn't work because we didn't disable it. So let's go and tick it and see what happens. It's not going to work at all. And the anime, yeah. So for some reason, when we have a animator on our cube parent, the move to start function is not really working. Which is not supposed to happen. Interesting. So we need to figure out why that is happening and why the movement is not working as well. So let's have a look and see. When we start, okay, so we disabled it there. So if we go and enable it, let's go press play. And then let's see, move to start. Okay, so that's not working. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to cheat a little bit and go to the other scene. We'll save this one just to save us some time. So now this one here is not going to work, I believe, because we have changed things. Yeah, of course it's not. Great. So when you fix something in the one scene, it destroys it in the other one. That's great. Alright then, let's go and see what do we do in the script. Animation manager. Okay, so that's just for playing our animation. Okay. So when we want to okay, so we'll get into that in a later video. The problem is, it's not really worth trying to fix it if you're just gonna keep breaking in a different scene. So we'll have to start working and continue working in the testing. No, not the testing one, sorry. The original one, which is our sample scene. I'm just going to rename this quick to game. And then this is the one we will carry on working in because it seems to not be working. We'll just go and disable that. So it does work when our animator is off. So you can see that we can now move from start to finish. Okay, so now let's go and work on some kind of system that allows us to determine which platform we're on. So the best way to do that is probably to use raycasts, or not probably, it is because I've done it in the other scene. So what are we going to do is, where are we going to do this? We are going to do, I think it's in a move scene. Yeah, so here we are going to create another script that is called cube platform check. So in the script, it's going to, depending on which direction you move into, we're going to create a raycast that is going to point out of that face. And then what's that? That's what the script here is doing. And then what it's going to do is going to determine if it hits something. It's going to figure out if it's either on a platform tag, or if it's on a platform that has a platform tag, which I will show you here. Levels. So if the raycast hits one of these here, any of these 9 cubes or platforms, they all should have a platform tag on it, which they do. And if it does hit one of these and it triggers this if statement here, it's going to indicate to us that, well, it should. I tried to implement this, but I didn't get to finish it. But it should print out a message that says it's on a platform, and similarly it's going to do the same thing if it's on a starting point and if it's on an endpoint. So that will give us some kind of indication of which platform it is. And then if it is on the start platform, we can go later on in the series, we can go ahead and play the start animation, as well as if we are on the end platform when we finish the game, we can go and play the end animation, which will allow us to load in the new level. But let's go and try and get this sorted for this scene. So I believe the only thing we had to do is, because I've done this in the testing scene, all we can do is go and uncomment this out. So we'll go get rid of those comments. So what this does, it simply creates a boolean and it checks to see if the face, whichever face is facing onto the platform, if it's which platform it's touching. So here it is calling this method. So all we do is we get the game object that has the check platform component or check platform script on it, which we'll have to create in our scene. Then once we've got that, we will have access to our check face because it's public. So we can go and call that in each direction. So as soon as we hit one direction, I think we stop calling it, because then we don't really need to call it because we know which face is facing down onto the platforms. And then once we've got that, we can go and figure out if we need to play any animation, or if we can just continue. So let's go and try and get that sorted. So just to speed things up a bit, I am going to open up our previous scene, save that quickly, and here we need to check on our cube. Where is it? Level manager. I think it's on our cube. Yeah, on our cube we need to attach our script. So we need to attach the cube platform check, and then we can drag that into there. So that should now work, and we should, when we play it, we should be able to see. Actually, no, we can't, because on here, okay, let's see, line 13, cube platform check. Okay, let's see, open that up. So indicate, okay, so let's just go and get rid of this because we don't need that yet. We can go and Actually, no, I'm just going to get rid of this completely because we don't need that at all. Get rid of that. We don't need that. That can disappear. So the stuff that I was deleting there is for in the testing scene, you can see these two cubes here. I added them in so that when we started the level and the cube was on the start platform, this cube here would light up, and as soon as you step off of it or move the cube to another platform, it would darken out, and then as soon as you go onto the green one, the green cube here would lighten up, and then yeah, we'll keep changing depending on which cube which platform you're on. So let's go back to the original one and we can test this out. So let's play the game. So now we shouldn't get any errors because we should be able to check which platform we're on. So here you can see as soon as we've moved onto the next platform, it says we are now on a platform. So if we move back onto the original onto the original platform, you can now see it says we are on a start platform. But there is one problem with this. So you can see it's working fine here. But you can see that we have moved onto the end platform, but we have no message in the console. Let's just check to see. So cube is on end platform. Yeah, so you can see that we no longer, well, we don't have this message being printed out. And I believe that is because what is it, minus 0.6. So I believe that has something to do with the positioning of the cube on the y-axis. So if you have a look here, you can see the y-axis should not be moving. It should stay at 0, but because it's not, I mean, it kind of is. So you can see that now, if you look in the corner here, it says 16. Actually, let's go and clear all of that and start from scratch. So you can see when we move around the level, it only works sometimes. So let's just go restart the level quick and then start it again. So you can see now if we move onto one platform, the method no longer gets called because our platform is not, or our cube is not sitting on the right height for the raycast to actually intersect and have that method being called. So that is something we need to figure out and try and get the cube to always stay on or stay at the correct height. So that is probably something we will do in the next episode. Let's just go and test this out one more time. Where does our cube start? So it starts and it goes to minus 0.6. Okay. Our raycast is coming out of our cube, which is fine. Yeah, that's fine. You know what, for testing purposes, I am just going to change the length of our cube to 1 unit, just to see if it works. Because if it doesn't work, then clearly it's not what I thought was happening. So if we move on to here, no, clearly that's not working. So this is the problem that I was having in the testing scene. That method that tells us which platform we're on only works when it wants to work, which is kind of annoying. So what's this? Line 37. Okay, so let's get rid of that because we do want to play the animation, but we don't want to play it yet because we haven't really made it. But you can see when we jumped onto, well, not jump, but when we went onto the end platform there, it triggered that method. So it does work. It just works when it wants to. So we need to figure out when it works and why it only works sometimes. But we'll get there. So that's going to be it for today's episode. So in the next episode, if we continue, well, the next episode of this game, we will try and solve that issue, because as long as we are continuing with this issue, we can't really go any further, because we need to get that sorted, because having the cube on each platform is kind of important, because we need to know if we need to start the method or not the method, we need to start the level or finish the level. And also we need to start adding in gravity to the cube, so that we can have the cube has the ability to fall off the platform, which will allow you to, or which will trigger the level to restart, as long as it collides with the restart level trigger box at the bottom. But also later in the series, we will start making the levels more difficult. So we'll add multiple levels, so that you have to start maybe on the top level, and then you have to drop off of the top level and you fall onto the bottom or the next level underneath it, and try and solve the level, I guess. But yeah, that's pretty much it for today. So again, thanks for watching if you made this far, and if you haven't done so already, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys in the next episode. So thanks for watching, and goodbye.